So tonight we're looking at this Cooking with Redux lab, which I discovered is actually a quote maker lab, but it looks like the title never got changed over when this was updated in 2017 sometime. So yeah, use the React Redux library and the Redux library to build an application with multiple resources. Overview. In this lab, we will be building an application for making quotes. This will include creating a quote and updating the global Redux state. In our app component, we will render the components quote form and quotes. We also need a reducer and actions file for our quotes reducer. The quotes reducer should have an initial state of empty array. When a quote is added, it should look like we'll be using the UUID node package for generating IDs like this. So it's going to add an object with a UUID ID, content, and author. We will also need to extend out the quotes reducer to handle removing quotes, upvoting quotes, and downvoting quotes as well. Check out the test specs for how to build these. Okay. Quotes actions. This is an example, image example of the app. Okay, cool. Note, we're using the node UUID package for this to create random unique IDs. Here's the documentation. To use it, just import it into your reducer and invoke it. Okay, so that's simple enough. That's real straightforward. Build out several actions as specified in the tests that build action creators for add, removing, upvoting, and downvoting votes. Quote form component. Our quote form will have a text area for a quote's content and an input for a quote's author. We'll be using component state for updating the input, so make sure to have a state of content and author in your quote form constructor. You will make a dispatch action to Redux using an action you will create called add quote. That will take a quote as an argument and start the reducer process. The quotes component will render a list of individual quote card components. It needs to be connected to the Redux state so that it can render the quotes. Also make sure to attach the remove, upvote, and downvote actions from the quotes actions file to pass down as callback props to the quote card component. Okay, so we need to add these. Excuse me. Make sure to connect the callback action props to the upvote, downvote, and delete buttons. Okay. Okay. There we go. So let's get going, and we'll see where we go. And here, let's look at our tests I got running. I already fired up the development server. So actually, I'm going to close this one down, just let that server run, and let's look at what we got so far. So we just have our title here, and none of our React components are done. We've got our tests going here, 6 passing so far, 17 failing. So it looks like our actions are first. Okay, so we can start with that. I think that's fine. I'm going to throw this to the side, and then we can look at it like that. Put that over there. Yeah, I guess that works. So cool. We've got actions. I wonder what tests are passing. Huh. Add quote, remove quote, upvote quote, and downvote quote. Okay, so we have 4 actions. And let me get back to VS Code. All right. I'd like to start and look. Okay, so we have our index, and that is just we have our provider and our store wrapping our app. Okay, so that looks good. We have our app to do render quote form and quote components. Okay, so let's see, components, quote card, containers. All right, so we have these stubbed out already with actually a decent amount of stuff done. So let's input these in here to get this part done. And just so that our app will be able to see these, we have our horizontal rule, our title. Okay, so right here, well, we need to import first. We need our 2 components, so let's import. I'm going to guess that we have quote form from containers, quote form, and then import, what's the other one, quotes from containers, quotes. Do that, and then let's just render those here. So we have the form, and then we have the quotes. And that should be good enough to give us something on the page. Let's see. Okay, so we have our basic form and our quotes, so we're moving forward. These tests are just flying by. So we'll just throw that there. And back to here. So let's close our app, and that should be good. And that should be good for now. And okay. So let's do our actions. I think the actions might be our natural next step. Maybe not. Yeah, I think we can do that because they're going to be pretty straightforward, I think. So actions. Fill out several actions as specified in the test that build action creators for add, removing, upvoting, and downvoting. So, all right. We have an add, remove, upvote, downvote quote. Okay. So let's do these. I'm just going to grab all this. It's going to be ugly, but then we will clean it up. All right. So that's obviously going to break everything for a minute. But let's just clean this up some. Yeah, I think that might be able to do some stuff with this. All right. Oh. I want to get these back. All right. I always forget my multi-line cursor. Multi-cursor. All right, let's do. All right. Boom. All right. Export const. Hit end. And then we want to pass in quote ID we saw. And boom, we got all this stubbed out. Awesome. And let's see what's going on here. Probably time to look at the actual spec. All right, should return an object with a type of add quote and a quote object. Okay. Should return an object with a type of remove quote. So we need an add quote, remove quote, upvote, and downvote. All right. So let's just go over here. Add quote, remove, upvote, downvote. Remove. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Remove, upvote, downvote. All right. That'll remind me of what needs to be in there. And a quote object. Okay. So yeah, that's throwing issues. So let's go ahead and put this. Well, actually, since we're going to be doing this across all of them. That's not helpful. All right. We're going to return object. That's going to have a type that we're going to define. And this quote ID. And that type is going to be these guys. add quote, remove quote. Should be these, I think. Upvote and downvote. Where are our tests? Actions. So it has the quote, it calls it with the quote. Expect it to equal type and quote. Okay. Add vote needs the quote, not the quote ID. And then remove quote takes the ID, upvote and downvote take the ID. Okay, that makes sense. So when we add a quote, we're passing the object and we need to add it, and we'll give it the UUID. And then if we want to remove it, upvote it or downvote it, our actions will return that. Oh, 11. So some things are passing. Let's see. 12 and 11. Sweet. All right, quote form. All right, we'll just follow the tests, even though they might not be in the most logical order for building this out. Build our actions. Quote form, quotes, quote card, and we'll need reducers. How should we do the reducers next? Let's build the reducers. I think once we have the actions and the reducers, then we can connect that to the components. And that might make more sense. Because the action is going to fire the reducer. So yeah, let's do that. So, all right. Reducer should handle add quote. That's probably easier to just open the test. All right, we're at 11 right now. So let's remember that. And over here, nothing should have changed. Yeah, so it looks the same, selects the same. Tests, reducers. All right. Let's do this. Oh, I don't want that. I want this, this, and this. And I think I can close this to get more screen real estate. All right, but we're starting with the reducer. So expect reducer undefined to equal, expect reducer undefined to deep equal blank. Okay, so we have our default state. So that's right. Should handle add quote. All right. So we have a quote here. I'm expecting that when the reducer is called with an undefined, and that's the action, we get the quote. So let's do that. So this is actually going to end up, yeah, let's build our switch to start. Oh, not caps. Switch. It's going to take an action.type that we're passing to it. And we're going to have the default. And that's going to be this return state now. All right, and now first case. Add quote. That's going to return our current state, and we'll use the spread operator for that, with our new quote, action.quote. And the action is the object, and the quote is the property of that object. And that should be that. Let's see, we had 11 tests before failing or passing. Failing, and now we're down to 10. Okay, so that is working, right? So let's keep moving on. Remove quote. So now we want to get rid of that UUID. So we have another case of remove quote. That's going to, let's say, return our state dot filter. So we want to return a new object of the state, and we want to remove from it, or we want to add to it all the quotes. So each individual one, as we're kind of like mapping. So we're going through, and everyone that's true to this, we will add. So we say quote dot ID. So each quote has an ID, and we're getting an ID. We see that here. We have an ID. Quote.id, we want the ones that are not equal to the action quote ID. And that's what we're passing in our action. That should do it. Let's see. We had 10 tests failing before. Now we have 9. Sweet. All right, next. Case. Upvote. So here, we're going to need a variable for our new state. Will we? Let's see. Return no, that won't work. Yeah. So let new state equal state.map. So we want to map over our array and go through each quote and say if that quote.id is equal to the action.quote.id, then we want to return to that map the object of quote, and votes are going to be incremented. And then our else is just the quote. And then outside of that let, we want to actually return this new state. Yeah. There. Semicolon. Semicolon. So semicolons on the end of the returns for consistency. Let's see. And that's by looking at this object here, what the properties we have, this votes property. 9. Oh. Quotes reducer should handle upvote quote. It's not working there. I have a feeling, okay, let's see. Quotes reducer cannot read property ID of undefined. Okay. Here. Or here. One of these two. Save this stop quote. Can't read property quote of undefined. This dot action. No. Sometimes, let's see. Quote. Arrow function is going to bind. Let's see if that just works. Okay, no. So wasn't that wonder if it's just wired all up more. Reducer initial state passes the object upvote quote, case upvote quote. Let new state equals state dot map. Call the function if quote state dot map. We have a state. Oh. Remove upvote. Okay, initial state has the object in it. So we're passing in that, and then the action, upvote quote. So we take that, we get that type of upvote quote, and we fire this. We're setting a new variable to new state, and that's equal to the state, which we have access to, and we're mapping over that for each quote. So that's going to be one object like this. Quote.id matches action, which is going to be here, .quote.id. Oh, that's where it is. This is not quote.id, this is quote ID. I think we can get this back how it was. Yeah, 6-5. Because we're passing a quote ID from the action. Not. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. There we go. All right. Then downvote's going to be very similar. We're just going to swap those pluses for minuses. And that should do that, what we need. Oh, the state's being used twice. So let's just declare this up here at the top of the block. And then we can reuse it like that. Oh, this is all over one. There we go. That should do it. 7? No, downvote. And do nothing if vote count is 0. Oh, that's the problem. Okay, so we need a little bit more logic in here. If that equals that, and quote, oops, quote dot votes is greater than 0. There we go. 7. Sweet. That's downvote. Quotes. So the reducers are hooked up now. All right. Let's do the quotes form. App component test. Quote form, quote form, quote form, quote form, quote form, quote form. Oh, everything else is in a quote form. Okay. I thought there was more stuff in here for some of these things. Is everything else in the quote form? It might be. No, it can't be. There's indicators that things need to happen here. I guess this is all rendering stuff. So these are, yeah, stateless functional component, just rendering some props. This is also, this has a connect, okay. This is the container for the quote cards, okay. Don't think we need this. I guess there aren't tests for those. It's just gonna look and see if, I don't know, we'll find out, okay. Quote form, okay. Quote form will have a text area for quotes and content. We see that. Quote author. Make sure you have a state of content author. So let's do that. State content empty string, author empty string. It's an easy one. Near constructor. Okay. You'll make a dispatch action to Redux using, you will create called add quote. Okay. That will take a quote as an argument and start the reducer process. Okay, so let's start working this, and we know we'll need our bind action creators from Redux. Get that in there. Oh, so the entire form is wired up. So that's nice. We are going to need to change our connect down here. We want to map dispatch to props, so we have access to that. Oh, I don't even know that we've looked at our DevTools at all in this lab. Let's see. Oh, we've got issues going on right now. That's fine. React. Yeah. It's not enough space. Okay, I don't know that we'll need, if we need to troubleshoot, we can pop that open. But right now, Just going to leave this here. Error. Map dispatch to props is not defined. Okay, well let's finish wiring this up and then see if we still have our errors. Map dispatch to props. Okay. Is that spelled properly? Map dispatch to props. Cool. All right. So let's handle our handle change event. And we can this set state. And we know we have two inputs, so we'll want to make this generic with a event.name.target and event.target.value. I prefer using just the letter E, but that's fine. And then we'll need to wire that up down here on our two inputs. So we'll need, let's see. All right, got to parse this. Text area. We'll need a name. Oh, not like that, of content. And we'll need on change this.handle on change. And we'll do this down here, input, class name, type, name equals author, and on change equal this.handle on change. So now our local state and our form is wired together. Still not liking our dispatch. Let's just pull it out for now so we can look at this. Oh. Down to 4. I'm actually gonna just do this for now. Make sure things are wired up correctly. React. All right. App. We're in our quote form component. There we go. So we have our state, author, content, quote. Love is yours. Okay. Our state should be updating. This dot handle on change. Name equals content. Set state event. Oh, these are backwards. Dot target dot name. Now that should work. Let's get drill down. Vote form. There we go. World is yours. And our author, Carface. Okay, so that's fine. We need to attack this button now. So our form, where's our form? Right here. We need to change this to on submit. That's going to be this dot handle on submit. All right. So we know that for sure. We need to prevent default. And then, all right, create quote object from state. So we need quote object. It's going to be author, this dot state dot author. content is this.state.content. It's going to need an ID, which we saw in the README. It's just calling that function that returns the number, and a votes number, which defaults to 0. All right, so cut those two down. Actually, let's do this. Comment our code. Pass the quote object to the action creator. So let's go ahead and redo this again. Oh, did I screw this up somewhere? Hope not. I hate finding these. Oh, there we go. Missing the curly brace. Whew. All right. Let's connect this again. Map dispatch to props. So we can call that. Oh, we haven't created our, that's what we were missing before. Map dispatch to props. Our dispatch. It's going to return our bind action creators. And in this one, we just want to add quote. So we're going to call add quote with add quote. And the dispatch. Okay, now let's go ahead and pass that. This.props.add quote. We're going to pass in that quote object we just built. And then we want to update the component state. So we want to clear it, set it back to the original. I guess I can just grab this like this. And there we go. And that should wire up all these parts. Let's see what's going on over here. So all the tests are passing. That's awesome. It's also kind of sad because the lab's not over. There should be more tests. I don't know why there aren't more tests. Let's finish it up. So right now we just have this. We can say, world is yours, Scarface. And we add it, it does it, but we don't see it. And we want to be able to see it and use those actions and reducers we built. So let's finish this up. I'm actually going to close this because there's no use anymore. All right. Quotes. Quote cards. All right. So our quotes. We need, let's import move quote, upvote quote, and down vote quote. That'll be from actions quotes, and import our bind action creators from Redux. And then let's map some things down here. Map state to props. And map dispatch to props. And let's create those. Map state to props. State return that object. And then map dispatch to props. It's going to take dispatch. And let's return bind action creators with our actions. So we have remove quote. We have upvote quote. That helper's very not helpful. It's just in the way. Downvote quote. And then the dispatch here. Oh, comma. Boom. Okay. So now we want to have these quote cards, and they're going to take props of each individual quote. So we want to iterate. Actually, we're going to build this here. Let's say quotes, this dot props dot quotes dot map. So we're going to go over every quote. We're going to take a quote and its index. I'm just going to use Q and I because I like my shorthand. And then in there, we're going to return the objects. So we're going to have quote card. It's going to have a key of the index. Quote is going to be the quote. And then we have to pass these action creators. So upvote quote, this dot props dot upvote quote, downvote quote, this dot props dot downvote quote, and what's the last one? Remove quote. This dot props dot remove quote. And then we're going to close that and render it here. Now we should see some quotes. Quote is not defined. Oh, that's cute. Is something breaking this? I don't think so. All right, let's render this and see what happens if it works once we get this implemented. All right, so we've got our props. Let's throw our curly brace around here. And then let's do some mass assignment. Quote, upvote, quote, downvote, quote, move, quote, Actually, let's just do that right here. Inside of our props. And then we can get rid of this line, just like that. And then we don't need this part. Just keep it how it is. All right. So in here, let's just get rid of these comments. All right. So we have our card block quote. All right. And this is going to be quote.content. And then quote.author. And then we're going to have our 3 buttons, which need an on-click event. Let's do our quotes down here. Or there's a div. So let's, our votes down here. These are the more straightforward ones. Quote.votes. And then we'll have 3. So let's do this. On click equals JSX, our function, which is going to take quote.id. That's going to be different for each one, so that we can do that. Which one is this? Upvote, downvote, and what's this last one? Upvote, downvote, remove. Sweet. I think that's it. Does it render? No. Why does it render? Compiled successfully. It's compiling. Why is it not rendering? Shift. Oh, okay. App component cannot read property map of undefined. Okay, so there is in quotes. Cannot read property map of undefined. So this right here is where our issue is. All right, debugging. This dot props dot quotes map state to props. The state is going to be quotes. States dot quotes. State dot quotes is quotes. This dot props dot quotes. Return map state to props equals state. Arrow function, which returns object. Quotes, which is state dot quotes. Oh, that's the problem. There's no null here. because connect takes 2. And if we don't have null now, we have the state. So now we've connected our state, and that should, there we go. World is yours. Our face. Boom. We did it. I said that just now. Boom. Upvote. Votes goes up. Downvote. Votes goes down. Awesome. Sweet work. Cool. Well, thanks for coming out, hanging out for a little bit. And yeah, I'll see you next time.